What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about suppressing your appetite, curbing your cravings, and yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to talk about. I wrote a blog post about this on my new blog, Your Healthy Simple Life. Make sure you guys check that out. I'm writing all about like health and fitness tips, but I wrote a blog post about this and I'm like, this would be a perfect YouTube video to do for you guys. So I figured, why not make this video? So if you guys enjoy it, make sure you give it a like because that supports me and my channel, and subscribe because I post Wednesdays and Sundays. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about, I'm gonna like kind of put this video into the first part and then the second part of the video. So the first part is I have such a great graphic on my blog post about this that I'll insert right here. It just talks about if you're craving this, then satisfy your craving with this or curb your craving with this. So I think it's so helpful to know kind of like the science behind it. So make sure you guys check that out. Again, I'll insert it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But that's the first thing, like kind of to know why you're craving something and like how to go around that. And I do realize that especially right now, it's such a big time of stress and lack of motivation just with everything going on, and like you're not allowed to go to the gym. A lot of the gyms are closed and it's really hard to try to get motivated to do an at-home workout. So that's the first thing, but again, like it's a really stressful and unknowing time. So we're all trying to get through this together. But yeah, I just wanted this video to help you guys if you know you're craving like snacks and sugar, especially during a time like this. Okay, but yeah, that's kind of the first part of this video, and I do have my phone for notes here. But the second part of the video, I wanted to kind of go more in depth and tell you guys that having a craving is not the same thing as being hungry. So if you get a craving, the best thing that you can do is eat a healthy meal like immediately. So for me personally, when I am super hungry, or you could say hangry, I can't be bothered to make a whole healthy meal. So what I'll do is I'll meal prep it when I'm not hungry, and especially like a lot of us aren't going into work unless you're an essential worker, so you may not be packing your lunch or taking snacks like you normally would, but you can still meal prep when you're at home. And that's what I do, because especially during like the lunch hour when I'm working, I'm like full force into my tasks and what I'm doing. I don't want to get up and try to cook something. So typically like the night before, what I'll do is cook a whole like lunch, so I'm not tempted to go reach for like the unhealthy foods and all that, because that is like one of the worst things you can do, is be hungry and not want to cook a healthy meal and just go for something easy. So when you're making your meal, make sure you try to stick with protein rich foods, just like fish, meat, eggs. Do like protein shakes. I love First Form. I'll link some down below. You guys seen me use them so much. They have the best and most like diverse flavors. So good. So make sure you guys check that out. But just making sure you're nourishing your body. I know I've said this in a couple different videos, but it's so important to take a look at what you're eating before you eat it and just ask yourself, body, does this nourish you? And that'll give you the answer if you're just eating something because you're hungry and it's just empty carbs, or if you're eating something that's gonna actually nourish and give your body those vitamins and nutrients that it needs. Okay, so but you might be asking me, what do I do when I crave sugar? Like, what is the way around it? So there's a lot of different things. So for the first thing is try to drink a whole glass of water when you feel like you're getting a craving or you're hungry, because a lot of times your body / your mind doesn't know that you might just be dehydrated. So drinking water can really satisfy that need for food or like your appetite. So try that. And what I like to do is always try to drink like 8 ounces of water before a meal, because again, that makes you full and you don't eat as much during your meal. So you may have heard this before, but sugar craves sugar. So the more sugar you eat, the more Oreos, the more processed food you eat, the more you're going to crave it. So I just want to say it does take some time to kind of get used to cutting out sugar, but I promise like after the first or second week, it becomes so much easier and your body is going to get used to not eating that sugar where it doesn't crave it. So that is something so important, because I feel like with so many diets and lifestyles now, it is so hard to get through that first week or two. So, but the thing is, once you do, it gets so dang easy. Like for me, I remember I used to crave all the junk food and all the treats and all the sweets after I eat a meal, but since I didn't allow my body to want or get that, I should say, it is so much easier to not want it in like the future, in the weeks to come, because remember guys, I do not like diets at all. It's about a lifestyle. Diets, it's so easy to relapse, and you may get to where your goal is whenever you're on a diet, but you know, sometimes relapse, and whenever you're not on the diet anymore, then you just end up putting the weight back on, or you just start from square one again. Another thing that I found is try to avoid artificial sugars as well, because like I said, you're going to crave it even more, and you're going to want to put like more sugar in your coffee and all that stuff, so just try to avoid that. But another thing, I always talk about how important sleep is, especially for being healthy in a lifestyle like this. But I don't know if you guys know, but if you get less sleep throughout the day, your body is actually going to be craving those bad foods and those sugars, which is super interesting, because the more tired you are, the more fatigued you are, the more you're going to crave those sugars. And the same thing can be said with stress. So as much as you can, I know it's such a stressful time right now, things are a lot different than our normal routine. It just helps to eliminate some stress if you can. Go for a walk, clear your mind, go for a run, exercise, do all the things, and that'll help you kind of be less stressed. And just know that everybody is going through the exact same thing you're going through at this time, and with quarantine and social isolation, so you're not the only one. People are going through it just like you are, so just try to like ease your mind during this time. I know it's so hard, but yeah, just try. Okay, so this is a super good one, and that is avoiding triggers. So what I mean with this one is to not stock your pantry with a bunch of unhealthy snacks. Like, while it's nice to treat yourself sometimes, definitely do that, but don't just like stock up on all the unhealthy foods when you go grocery shopping, because that is a trigger. If you know it's in your house, you can eat it, but if it's not in your house, it's way harder for you to try to get to that. So I hope that makes sense. And then if you kind of live in a city, you could be triggered if you, for example, walk by McDonald's, you smell that food, and if you like smell the unhealthy food, you can easily be triggered by that, and you can easily crave that. So yeah. Oh, and I did have a note that says whatever you do not starve yourself. So give your body the food that it needs when you are actually hungry. The more you starve yourself, the easier it is you're going to binge eat and relapse. And then my favorite one is nourishing your body with protein and good carbs, fats. That's what I try to do. For dinner, I always try to get, so it's probably a lot harder if you're vegan or vegetarian, but what I like to do is get a source of protein. So for me, that's meat or fish, and then I'll try to get a good carb and then a veggie. So that is kind of my template, I want to say, for dinner. For lunch, it's usually like a salad, or I'll eat my zero carb bread that I got from Aldi. That stuff's great. Make sure you guys check that out. Or like a banana and like some meat and just like something light. And for breakfast, I typically do a lot of fats because I am a very active person. I work out, so I need those fats in my body and that protein. I am such a big protein gal, so yeah, I need that throughout my day, and it helps me just stay focused on my work and everything I need to do throughout the day, and it keeps me fuller for longer, so that's a plus too. Ooh, this is a good one, and whenever I used to work at an office job, I would always do this, and that is chewing gum after a meal, so like lunch or dinner. A lot of times we have a sweet tooth after dinner, at least I know I do, and a lot of people I know do, so chewing gum kind of curbs that. But the bottom line for this video is obviously don't starve yourself. Always make sure you're treating yourself every now and then. Like if you do so good eating throughout the day, then make sure you treat yourself after dinner to a little something something. There are so many alternatives to those unhealthy desserts, so check those out. Even I've been doing strawberries and whipped cream, and that is such a good sweet dessert that I like to eat at night. And then my last note here, I kind of touched on this before because I was so excited about it, but that is just to remind you guys that obviously when you're cutting out sugar and you're starting on something, it can definitely be a shock to the body and be really hard within the first couple of weeks. But I promise you guys, after a couple of weeks, your body is not going to know the difference. It is not going to remember how you were before you started this. So just give it a couple weeks and I promise it will get easier as you go. Like, it has been years now. I have been on my health journey and my healthy lifestyle, and I just remember I would always crave like Jimmy John's sandwiches. I would go to get Kit Kats at the gas station, things like that, and now I don't even think twice about them. So that's super important to note, and just don't give up if it's hard in the first couple weeks. But I think that is going to conclude this video. Make sure you guys check out my blog post. I have probably additional information on there that I forgot to mention, so I'll leave a direct link to that down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a like if you did. Subscribe again because I post videos Wednesdays and Sundays, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!